Hi, it's Paul again, and today in the video I wanted to talk about lighting, and part of what's going on when we do these vlogs is that, who knows what kind of lighting is going to be available. And sometimes we are shooting indoors and we can control the lighting to a degree, and sometimes we take ourselves outside and then we're dependent on whatever weather is going on out there. Now right now I'm doing it differently again, and I don't know if it's going to notice in the final thing, but when I'm watching the output slightly below the webcam, okay, and I can see a sort of like a cycling of warm and cold color. What I'm entirely lit at the moment by the luminescence of my two monitors. So I have a dual monitor display for the computer that I'm sitting at here, and so it throws out. They're very bright LED monitors. They're about they're BenQ, so they're about 20.5 inches each, and they are chucking out a decent amount of LED light, but it's quite cold light, quite blue light. Interestingly, it appears to give me a reasonably sort of flattering, is that the right word, skin tone. It's not bouncing too much. I've got a decent amount of depth. My forehead isn't, bouncing light. But you saw, that's interesting. Could you see that? If I change, that's interesting, isn't it? So when things get in the way, you see the light is really warm now, and then if I put my hand in the way, you can see that it goes very cold. Isn't that interesting? So the depth of the lighting is an important factor too. So if I move in and out, I can control the warmth and the depth. Now I'm also wearing a black t-shirt and I'm in a pretty darkish room at the moment, and that has an effect as well. I'm like the disembodied head. If you ever watch Red Dwarf, the comedy sci-fi series, and you see Holly, the ship's computer, is like this disembodied head. So if you can imagine everything around me is black, and here I am as the disembodied head. Anyway, why is all this important? Especially to, is it just important to vlogging, or is it important to writing too? Well, it is important to both. The act of lighting something is a direction, as in like what a director does, or a stage direction. It directs our attention to a subject or an object in a certain way. In some other videos I have worn lighter clothing for varied effect, and sometimes the effect of wearing lighter clothing is I look very pale and washed out by comparison with the lighter clothing. The darker clothing bizarrely seems to give me a little bit more colour as a subject. So that's interesting. Now you may disagree, and who knows how this is going to come out when it gets processed. But it's interesting that we can, with little changes, we can change the way that everything appears to be. So in a moment what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on a couple of different lights, but I quite like this. I'm surprised how effective this feels. It feels like I've got a good depth of lighting and of field and focus in this video. That's interesting. So I didn't know that. So I've turned all my lights off and just using the monitor. In the room though, normally I'm working with a desk lamp on either side, about 30 inches away on the edges of the monitors facing me, and they shine pretty much directly onto me. And then I have up above, but slightly off to the behind me, I have I think it's a low energy 40 watt warm bulb that is a ceiling bulb, and that kind of provides a general wash of warm light in the room. And I kind of, that's how I've pretty much shot all the videos, but I'm experimenting now, so I'm seeing what we can do and what's different. And so I'm going to flick around with a few lights. I've also got a couple of things behind me. I've set up my office a little bit better now. So I'm becoming more efficient. I'm doing a lot more video and audio and broadcasting work from this setup right in front of me here that you can see, and then behind me I've got well, over there I've got the email computer. That's email and Facebook, and my Google Calendar. And so basically I use that to stop me from looking at email all the time and Facebook all the time. It's over there. And so I give myself two periods during the day where I can look at email and deal with it. And then the rest of the time I'm free of that distraction. It never used to be like that, and it used to be that I used to get terribly distracted all the time. Checking, checking, and I'm sure you've got friends, and maybe you do it too, but you've got friends like this who are always checking. Has anyone messaged me? Is anyone saying anything interesting on Facebook? And this is kind of like attention deficit thing going on, where it's like, is anything happening? Is anything happening? And then while we're busy doing that, we're missing life going on around us. We're not present in the life that we are actually having. So I shifted all the distractions over to that computer. This computer is the graphics computer. It's where I have my my programs like Artisteer and Theme Starter, so where I'm designing themes for people. It has Photoshop, it has GIMP, it has a bunch of other things that I use to create graphics. It also has some of my video creation stuff, so I have Video Scribe over there on that. And the reason for that is that it separates out that kind of work too, and it frees up this machine for doing video and and broadcasts basically. So if I want to do a webinar or a something, and that's coming, gosh, that's going to be scary, isn't it? Then I can do them from this machine, and then I'm not clogging up this machine with all the email and Facebook and Skype and then all the graphics work and all that, which is all very memory intensive. So that's the big idea. Now I've gone to 7 minutes now, and that's quite long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop now for this video, and then in the next video I'm going to show you what effects occur when I put different lights on in different orders and sequences and stuff like that, and we'll see what you can judge and maybe give some feedback in the comments about which ones you think are good or bad. But tell me what you think of this. I'm quite pleasantly surprised at how effective this feels, but who knows, when the video's done maybe we won't like it. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.